If you do go on to enjoy today's video, do me a favour and hit that like button and of course subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. And if you want to avoid the random lottery that is FIFA points, you can go straight to the source with u7buy.com, and of course you can use the code TVM at the checkout to get yourself a discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another video. Today, some speculation and prediction about the new icon swaps. It's not too far away now, about 4 or 5 days away. Hopefully they drop it on Friday. And if they do, I think this is what we can sort of look forward to. This is what we can expect. I mean, these aren't going to be exact every single player, but hopefully I've got them within the right price range. So I'm not going to predict the exact amount of tokens, although you could probably guess yourself. Up first, we've got Jens Lehmann. Not the base version. In fact, I don't think I've included, apart from maybe 1 or 2 base cards in this, because I think they're going to start upping it to mids. Of course, the primes come out as well. Lehmann is likely to be around 6 tokens. Not many people are going to go for him, I'm sure. Same with the next card, really. Again, another mid-version Inzaghi. I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of Inzaghi, Vieri, those type of players, maybe even Ruud van Nistelrooy, actually, at the very beginning, be the prime version, even for 8 tokens, because they're not that usable in game, and I think EA know this. But Inzaghi's the first outfield player. Hierro is the next one. Now, this is actually a usable card. Is this the base version of the card? I can't quite remember which one I've chosen. Either way, I think this is a usable card, and even if you have to spend 8 tokens to pick it up, I don't think many people would consider that a bad card. And I think a lot of people would do it with their leftover tokens. So say, for instance, you go for someone quite expensive. Those or these type of players could be the ones you go for. Gattuso is another one of those cards. This is the mid. Again, this is usable. It's not terrible, and you can do it day 1 if you really grind for it. Anything up to 12 tokens, if they keep the same format, you can grind for in the first few days. Moving on to another player who is again in the 6 to 9 token category, Alan Shearer. Not a desirable card for most, but if you're a Blackburn or a Newcastle or any other club that he's played for fan, then you might be inclined to go for this. I don't think it's a really desirable card. Maybe 8, 9-ish tokens, somewhere of that nature. But again, it's the mid version. And then Seedorf. I've gone with the base version of Seedorf. We're into the 12 to 16 tokens because Seedorf is a very well-rounded card. And if you look at the stats of the base, he's actually much better than some of the SBC and objective players that EA are throwing out for Futmas. So those, they're costing you hundreds of thousands of coins. Seedorf, you can get for maybe 12 tokens, possibly. Jari Litmanen's Prime, although there is a bit of a surprise up my sleeve here. Jari Litmanen Prime moments won't be expensive on the market, and it should reflect in the amount of tokens required. And I have a little surprise, and that is that they might introduce moments into this icon swaps. Now, ignore the design. That's not the official design, thankfully, because it doesn't look that great, but it was the best one I could grab hold of. So with that being said, we could see a +1, we could see a +2. This is wishful thinking more than anything else. A really good Jari Litmanen card for around 12 tokens would be really nice. Moving on to Andrei Shevchenko. Again, this is the mid version. It wouldn't surprise me if they threw the prime version out there, but for 12 tokens, I can see many people looking at this and thinking, do you know what, I'll take that for the first half. Because you've got to remember, there are a lot of impatient people out there, right? So people won't be going, right, I'm going to take 12 tokens, I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait for the next 12 to be released. They will spend. And Paul Scholes is another example of those who might be tempted if you're a Manchester United fan. And you look at this and you think to yourself, right, I really, really want a Manchester United icon. And Paul Scholes represents that. Now, is it going to be the mid? Is it going to be the prime? I would imagine probably the mid or the prime. The prime I'm leaning towards. Zola up next. Again, any Chelsea fans out there would be very, very tempted by this. In fact, I'm not even a Chelsea fan myself, but I'd be tempted by this. This is a great card. And every card, by the way, you might be thinking, you've got these all wrong. I'm going on prices more than I am quality of the card. All these are reflected in the price compared to the ones that are available now and to the amount of tokens that are available. Deco, his prime up next for possibly 16 tokens, I would have thought. I mean, to be fair, this card gets a bit of a bad rap, the Deco sort of mid and the base card, but they're actually not that bad, but they are super cheap. I'd be more on the side of 12 tokens for this prime Deco, though, to be fair. Moving on to Frank Lampard. Of course, we had Steven Gerrard, Michael Owen in the last swaps. It wouldn't surprise me if we had Lampard and Scholes in this one. And again, much like Jari Litmanen, there is a potential here for a moments card. No disrespect to Frank Lampard, because he was a fantastic player and he definitely deserves a better icon card than EA give him. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe his moments card make an appearance in swaps, because that prime card doesn't look that great. At least the moments card could look much better and be a far more appealing card. Marc Overmars might sound like a terrible prospect, and we may end up seeing his prime rather than his mid. Either way, for around 12 to 16 tokens, I don't think this would be a bad take, because he does fit the way that the game plays this year. He's got very high agility, very high dribbling in general, and of course he's super pacey, and everyone looks for that kind of thing. Juan Sebastian Veron, again, any Manchester United fans out there and any other club that he played for, of course, very good passer of the ball, extremely well-rounded. I would say that this is probably more on the side of 16 tokens than anything else, and we will move into the higher set in just a second, but that for 16 tokens wouldn't actually be that bad a card at all. Moving on to 16 to 20 tokens, and you might think I'm a little bit crazy for this, but again, look at the stats of this card. Very high pace, dribbling and passing with more than adequate shooting and good physicals for a left mid. This card, again, reflected in the price, should be between 16 and 20 tokens. We're going to move on now to a bit of a controversial one, in my opinion, and that is going to be Luis Figo. Now, he's not that expensive on the market, really. He's between sort of 450, 550, depending on what day you can pick him up on. So maybe he would be at the very bottom of that 16 token requirement, but I could definitely see him coming out for 16 to 17 tokens, somewhere in that region. I like him. I nearly bought him the other day. Moving on to Robert Pires, and much like Frank Lampard and Jari Litmanen, there is a little surprise up here. So it's between 16 and 20. This is the prime version of Robert Pires. Now, I don't really think that's worth 16 tokens. I think it might be just a little bit below. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the moments make an appearance here, and then them making it sort of 17, 18 tokens, maybe even 19 tokens, sort of Butragueno area, you know, 90 dribbling, 90 pace, 90 passing. It's a very good looking card, and Arsenal fans for sure would want to go for this. And to be fair, I'd be tempted myself at that rating if they made it the moments. Moving on to a Garcha, I can definitely see a few Brazilians making their way into icon swaps too. Garcha would be a fantastic acquisition. Look at the dribbling, look at the pace again, great passing, very good shooting. Probably the higher end of the 16 to 20 token mark, but still definitely up in that region, I believe. I think that's the base as well. Laurent Blanc up next, and again, reflected in the price, you might look at this and go, no, I'm alright, I don't really want that card, and that's fine. But in terms of value, this is the prime, and the mid icon is actually around 900,000 coins. So the fact that this is the prime for around, what, 20? We can, I would assume that this would be, what, 1.2, 1.3 million on the market. That's a good deal. Capita up next, the right back, the Brazilian right back, looks like a very, very good right back indeed. There are a couple of other sort of defensive and fullback options that EA could throw out there, but again, going on price point, between 18 and 20 tokens for me, this one, and it would be a fantastic acquisition for anyone, and I could definitely see people grinding for this. That being said, these are the 20 plus tokens icons. I've only got 3, although there are loads you could choose from. Stoichkov's prime looks unreal. I mean, the pace, the shooting, the dribbling, and then to mention that he has more than adequate passing and great physicals. That is a great card, and it would be expensive, and I'm sure it will be when it gets released. Dalglish base, and I know you're thinking, hang on a minute, a base icon for 20 plus tokens that I probably won't end up getting till February. Yeah, maybe we could go for the 90, maybe we could go for the mid, but this is still around 1.4 million on the market right now. 1.2, 1.4, maybe even a little bit higher. The mid icon is super expensive, so I could definitely see him holding his price because he is super, super meta. But yes, we could end up seeing the mid icon of Dalglish, but I definitely think we'll see Dalglish at some point during this icon swaps. And finally, the player that I think that they're going to put at the top is going to be Kaká. Now, I have gone with his moments rather than his base, and the reason I've done that is, not base, prime. The reason I've done that is because the mid Kaká is currently around 760. The prime, I would assume, would be in and around 1 million. Therefore, this card would be, what, 1.52 million coins. That's a very expensive icon. Now, okay, you're not going to get this until the end of, what, February? Which is quite a long time to wait, but if you have to wait for extremely high-rated Moments Kaká, I think people will do it. It's in and around the sort of Drogba region as well. They put Drogba at the end of the last one. Kaká is kind of the face of FIFA 20 as far as icons are concerned. And of course, Drogba and Kaká's price are not too dissimilar on the market, so I could definitely see them doing this. However, it wouldn't surprise me if they threw the likes of Ronaldinho out there, or even put a base Pele in there at some point. Maradona could find his way in. There are so many different players that they could throw at you, but these are the ones, in my opinion, that seem quite likely to happen. They won't want to give you anything too crazy because they don't want you having a card that means you never have to upgrade, you know. There are only really a handful of cards in that set that I've shown that realistically, once you get them, you won't want to upgrade that position again. You know, I'm looking at the likes of Kaká's Moments card, I'm looking at Stoichkov's Striker. There aren't that many others that you would pick up, put in your team and leave there for the end of the year. EA don't want you to do that. They want you to have to upgrade. They want you to buy FIFA points. They want you to keep playing so that you can unlock, you know, more packs, more icon tokens, and so on and so forth, so that you have a reason to continue coming back to this game, rather than, oh, well, my team's done, I'm off. So it's not necessarily what I want to see. I would have picked Ian Rush, John Barnes, and so on and so forth, you know, as a Liverpool fan. It's what I expect EA to do. But that's just one man's opinion. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below which ones I've got wrong. Maybe the pricing is a little bit wrong. That's why I tried to go from, you know, between 6 to 9 and so on and so forth, rather than putting an exact number on them, because I didn't, you know, we're all going to get it wrong. It's just a speculation game. But if you have enjoyed today's video, then do me a favour and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index, the game changed. Download the app now.